Hey everyone, today I'll be talking about Anne Plus or Anne Plus. It's a new lesbian web series in the Netherlands and I've been anticipating it for a really long time now. It premiered last Sunday at the Dutch Film Festival. I made a video about that last week. And they also put their first two episodes online on the website. I've seen all 6 already and so I can tell you all about them. I know that every episode revolves around one relationship. So that's what I do beforehand. Now I know that this show starts at her, when her college life starts and it ends when her college life ends too. I'm trying to keep the spoilers down, but I do need some to tell my story and about how I feel about the show. So if you don't want that, stop it now. But if you don't mind, please continue watching. I know that the show at this very moment doesn't have subtitles, but I do know that their Instagram page is, well, they talk in English there too, so I would follow that because they might release them soon, I don't know. In the first episode we meet Anna and she's sitting in her new home in Amsterdam. There are all these moving boxes everywhere and she needs to run some errands. But then she runs into her ex, Lily, and she has her new girlfriend with her, so it's always really awkward and you never look good in those moments. So yeah, she's bummed out about that. So that leads us to the flashback of their relationship. It's when they're in high school together, they get together, they move to Amsterdam together to start college life, and they're completely and madly in love. But then, like slowly but gradually, they just start to grow apart, and yeah, they reach their breaking point. So now we are in the current moment again and we see that Lily texts her like, hey, it was great seeing you, do you want to meet up for coffee? And they agree to do so on this Sunday. And that's the end of the episode. So now you're wondering, are they getting back together? Because you also know that every episode will revolve around one relationship. So how will the show approach that? Is it going to be focusing on Lily now or a different relationship? In the second episode, we still see the moving boxes and her two best friends come over to help her unpack. So we know that little time has passed. And she tells them, like, hey, I've seen Lily. And then one of her friends first thinks that it's Jana, her different ex. So that's how we go back to that relationship. Jana is a girl that she met right after Lily. She needed some excitement because of, the relationship with Lily was kind of tame at the end. And Jana offers her parties and drugs, but she doesn't really feel at home. And then at the end of their fling, she gets done for living in a bubble. And you can tell that she's hurt, but I think more about that comment than the fling actually ending. And you can tell that with the help of her friends, she just quickly recovers. So this wasn't really a big thing for her. In the third episode, we see Anna sitting on a couch and she's on Tinder. And she's like, looking at the profiles, and then she's kind of shocked because she sees Sophie's profile. And then she remembered how she was madly in love with Sophie, but that the feeling wasn't mutual. And I really like the flirting scene in this part. It just shows that first awkwardness and that whole exploring thing that you do in the beginning. It's also a moment of growth for Anna, because you see that there's a twist. It goes from what I want to, okay, I want this, but the other person doesn't want this, and what do I do now? That moment of growth really allows you to grow a more in-depth connection to Anna. So yeah, that's the first part where it really goes a bit deeper. You start to establish a connection to her. In the fourth episode, we see Anna talking to her friend on the phone. She needs a reference letter for an application, and she then says, oh no, I need Esther for that. And that's how we go to the flashback of her and Esther. She was an intern at her company and she just casually says like, yeah, sex with your boss is hot. And you can definitely tell that she has no feelings whatsoever. She's just there for the sex. And it's something new that we've never seen in her before. So I think it also adds something funny to it. And then in a really embarrassing way, you realize that her boss does have feelings for her. And this is definitely one of those moments where she's become more mature and she's in control again. She's completely over Sophie, you can tell, and yeah, she's more mature. In the fifth episode, Sarah calls right when Anna is doing some work in her living room. And you can tell that they haven't seen each other in a long time. And Anna says that she thought Sarah was really good looking, and she's immediately impressed again. You can see that the balance is off and that Anna is definitely in a lower position than Sarah at this point. So you go to the flashback, you see that they were really in love with each other, but that Sarah, she doesn't really feel like a lesbian. That's what she says. She says that she just likes Anna, and Anna values her lesbian identity very much. You can tell the entire season. She just didn't really realize Sarah's struggles that much because she was so in love. Because Sarah was just really still discovering her whole sexual orientation. And this leads to one of those really painful public moments where something along the lines of "fuck off, dyke" is being yelled. And then there's this horrible breakup with a lot of crying where you just don't want to let go of the other person. You know, we all know them. That's happening. And you can tell that this is a really painful moment for Anna. And it's right when she's just graduated and ready to start adult life. So that means that her college life starts and ends with a relationship that means a lot to her, but that ends. In the final episode, we focus solely on Anna. It's a brand new day, it's Sunday, it's adult life. What do I do now? The entire season we see her brushing her teeth with her girlfriends. Now she's just looking at the mirror all by herself, brushing her teeth. She's having breakfast all by herself. You can tell that she's a bit aimless. And then her parents come to visit and they have that whole conversation like, what do you want to do with your life? And it's not really going the way you want it to go, is it? In this episode, it's also time for that coffee date with Lily. And you can tell that the whole conversation is a bit awkward and it stays on the surface. But you can also tell that there are definitely like old feelings playing back and forth there. I really liked how they started at college life and ended at college life, and that it ends with these big questions like, what am I supposed to do with my life now? You get to know her through her relationships and her friendships, and she also gets to know herself through those relationships. So she has some really beautiful moments, she has some bad moments, and I like how at the end of the season she's like, okay, I've always been with someone else, who am I just by myself without a girlfriend? That's how you get a well-rounded story. I think it also has openings for more stories and more seasons, more episodes. I will definitely watch those, and I hope that some of them will be available to you with subtitles. What? Hey! Oh no, I can't go to YouTube's page yet because I don't have enough subscribers. If you want more queer content, and I think you do, subscribe to my channel. Help me out.